Hello students, so today we are going to discuss about the balancing of redox reaction. Now we know that in certain reactions we have certain number of moles of used reactants and products, and they are called stoichiometric coefficients. So in this topic our target is to find the respective stoichiometric coefficients of reactants and products used in the reaction. For to do so, we have two different methods, and we will discuss step by step calculation how to do the balancing of reaction using that methods. But first, let's discuss about what is balancing of reaction. Suppose we have a reaction HCl plus NaOH, a simple acid-base titration. It produces salt NaCl and water molecule. Now if this reaction is balanced, then number of atoms on both hand side, that means product and reactant side, must be equal, and total charge of all the reactants and all the products must be equal. Now what it means, so let's try to check the number of atoms on each side. We have 1 and 2 hydrogens on reactant side. On the other hand, we have 2 hydrogen on product side. 1 chlorine, 1 chlorine, 1 sodium, 1 sodium, 1 oxygen, 1 oxygen. So all the elements or all the atoms on both hand side are equal. Now let's try to check the total charge. Now HCl is a neutral molecule plus NaOH is a neutral molecule. NaCl is neutral and H2O is also neutral. So total charge on reactant side it is 0. Total charge on product side it is 0. So this reaction is balanced. Now let's check another reaction, H2SO4 with NaOH. Now it is same type of acid base titration, but it will produce a different type of salt, and it will be Na2SO4 along with water. Now let's check the total number of elements. In this case we have 2 plus 1, 3 hydrogens. On the product side we have 2, 1 sulfur, 1 sulfur, 4 plus 1, total 5 oxygens, 4 plus 1, 5 oxygens, 1 sodium, here we have 2 sodiums. So in this case not all the elements are balanced. Total charge it is neutral, H2SO4, NaOH both are neutral, so total charge is 0. On the product side Na2SO4, H2O they are neutral, so total charge is still 0. So no problem with total charges, but not all the elements are balanced. So to do so we need to put 2 moles of NaOH and 2 moles of water. Now this reaction is balanced. All the elements are balanced. But this is easy example, and we can easily guess the number of stoichiometric coefficient of respective products or reactants. But if reaction is complex, as for example, in disproportionation reaction we discuss the reaction of phosphorus where we have P4 and it produces PH3 and H2PO2 minus. So in this case, in question provided information will be we have P4 which produces PH3 and H2PO2 minus. Now our target is to balance reaction. That means by calculating the proper sequence of the reaction we need to get this answer. So as we can see, from this to this it is comparatively a complicated thing. So that's why we need to learn the method, because not all the reactions are easy. For balancing the redox reaction, 2 methods are used. First method is based on the change in oxidation number of reducing agent and oxidizing agent, and other method is based on splitting the redox reaction into 2 half reaction, that means oxidation half reaction and reduction half reaction. Then we will separately balance both of the reaction and then we will combine it together. So let's discuss the first method, oxidation number method. So in writing the equation for oxidation reduction reaction, just as for other reaction, the composition and formulas must be known for the substance and reactant for product that are formed and for product that are formed. The oxidation number method is now best illustrated in following steps. So in this case, first information we already should know is about the structure or molecular formula of the reactants and products. Now, if reactants and products are normal, then we do not need to worry about. But if they contain two different type of similar atom, as for example, as we discussed in some examples, we have peroxide of oxygen and normal oxygen. If oxygen is linked via peroxide bondage, then it will show -1 oxidation state, and if it is normal, then it will show -2 oxidation state. If both type of oxygens are present in the reaction, then we should know about them before starting the balancing of reaction. Otherwise, complications will arise. Now let's discuss the step-by-step method. How can we balance the chemical reaction? So first let's discuss the steps, and then we will apply those steps in example so that we can learn properly. So first point is, write the correct formula of each reactant and product. Second, identify atom which undergoes change in oxidation number in the reaction by assigning the oxidation number to all the elements in reaction. That means certain elements will be present as spectator ion. That means they do not change their oxidation states. So we do not need to concentrate on them in initial stage. But elements which changes oxidation state, we have to concentrate on them first. Next, calculate the increase or decrease in the oxidation number per atom and for the entire molecule or ion in which it occurs. So in certain cases you will notice we have multiple atoms which changes oxidation state. As for example, in first example, or as we discussed earlier, example mentioned in disproportionation reaction P4, that means total 4 phosphorus atoms, all of them will change their oxidation states. So we have to concentrate on them, how many atoms we have. And if these are not equal, then multiply by suitable number so that these become equal. That means on the reactant side and product side, we have to equalize the number of atom which changes oxidation state. If you realize that the two substances are reduced and nothing is oxidized or vice versa, something is wrong. That means our calculations are incorrect and we have to correct them. Next point, ascertain the involvement of ion if the reaction is taking place in water. Add H plus or OH minus ions to expression on the appropriate side so that total ionic charge of reactants and products are equal. Now, as mentioned in earlier, on both sides, that means reactant and product side, we need to equalize the number of atoms as well as total charge. Total charge, that means on the reactant side, if you find the total charge of all the reactant is equal to +5, then on product side it must be +5. Or if on product side it is -3, then on reactant side it must be -3. It will be clear when we discuss with suitable example. So if charges are not equal, then in neutral medium, that means not acidic or basic medium, we can use H plus or OH minus as per our requirement. But if reaction is carried out in acidic medium or acidic solution, use H plus ion in the equation, and in basic use OH minus. Next, make the number of hydrogen atoms in the expression on the two sides equal by adding water molecules and reactants and products. Okay, as per our requirement. If number of hydrogen is more on product side, then we have to put water molecules on reactant side. If number of hydrogen is more on reactant side, then put water molecule on product side. And last thing, now check the number of oxygen atoms as well. And if there are same number of oxygen atom in the reactant and products, the equation then represents the balanced redox reaction. Now let's discuss the same points with suitable example. So problem number 8.8, write the net ionic equation for the reaction of potassium dichromate. Now Vi, that represents 6, so it represents the oxidation number of chromium in potassium dichromate with sodium sulfite Na2SO3 in acidic solution to give chromium 3 ion and sulfate ion. Now first thing to keep in mind, here mentioned examples contain some additional elements. As for example, K2Cr2O7, it contains potassium and usually it won't change the oxidation number. How can we be sure? Because as we can see in this given detail, we have dichromate, potassium dichromate, which changes into chromium. That means no mentioning of potassium. Similarly, Na2SO3, it will change in sulfate ion, that means no mentioning of Na2. So why they are not mentioned on product side? Because they do not change their oxidation state. That means no need to mention in earlier stage of the reaction to reduce the complications. So we are going to write K2Cr2O7 2 minus because we are removing 2 of the K plus, and SO3 2 minus because again we are removing 2 Na plus, and it will produce chromium 3, that means Cr3 plus, and sulfate ion, that means SO4 2 minus ions. So our reaction will be something like this. Now as mentioned in the step by step, first we need to write the reaction, so we already did. Now let's assign the oxidation state for each element mentioned here. So Cr2O7 2 minus, now it is already mentioned in this case chromium shows +6 oxidation state, but if you still want to confirm it, then let's calculate it. Cr2O7 2 minus, so total charge is equal to -2. Total 7 oxygens will provide -14, then 2 chromiums will provide +12. So that +12 minus 14 will give us -2. So 2 chromium is equal to +12, that means 1 is equal to +6. So oxidation state of chromium, it is +6. For oxygen it will be -2. For SO3 2 minus, again let's calculate it. Sulfur shows total is equal to -2, so oxygen will give us -6, so sulfur should be in +4 oxidation state, then it will be total -2. So sulfur is in +4 oxidation state, oxygen will be in -2. Now oxidation state of Cr, it is already mentioned, on product side it is +3. Now in case of SO4, instead of 3 we have 4 hydrogens, so it will give us -8, so sulfur should be in +6, then total will be -2. So sulfur here it is in +6 oxidation state, oxygen will be in -2. So all the oxidation states are mentioned, and now we can easily see the elements which changes oxidation state. First is chromium. Chromium initially had +6 oxidation state, later it shows +3. Sulfur initially had +4, later it shows +6. That means chromium is being reduced and sulfur is being oxidized. So how many electron transfer takes place? So first thing, we need to balance the atoms or ions which changes oxidation state. On the reactant side we have 2 chromiums, but on product side we have only 1. So we have to multiply it with 2. On the reactant side we have 1 sulfur, on the product side we have 1 sulfur, so it is already balanced. Now let's check the transfer of electron. So 1 chromium, initially it had +6 oxidation state and it changes into +3. So it consumes 3 electrons. 1 chromium consumes 3 electrons, we have 2 of them. So that means we have to multiply the number of electrons with 2. So 6 electron transfer takes place from chromium side or in reduction half reaction. Similarly for SO3 2 minus to SO4 2 minus, it takes 2 electron transfer because sulfur was in +4 oxidation state and it changes into +6. So it takes 2 electron transfer. So 2 electrons from oxidation reaction and 6 electrons from reduction reaction. But number of electrons must be equal on both sides, and for that we have to multiply wherever the requirement is. So already on a reduction reaction we have 6 electrons, but in oxidation reaction we have only 2 electrons. So to equalize the number we have to multiply the oxidation or sulfur with 3, so that you will get total 6 electron transfer. So simply we will add 3 ions of SO3 2 minus will give us 3 ions of SO4 2 minus. So now on the basis of electron transfer our reaction is balanced. Now let's calculate the total charge on both sides. So chromium Cr2O7 is in -2 oxidation state. So minus 2 from Cr2O7 2 minus. Now we have total 3 SO3 2 minus. So 1 SO3 2 minus carries minus 2, then 3 will carry minus 6 charge. So total charge on reactant side it is minus 8. On product side we have 2 Cr3 plus, that means it will give us plus 6 charge, and 3 SO4 2 minus, that means it will give us minus 6 charge. So total charge on product side it is 0. So that means, as we can see, charges are not similar. So to equalize the charge we can add ions. If acidic medium is there, then we can add H plus. If basic medium is there, then we can add OH minus, and if medium is neutral, then we can add both of them whenever required. So here it is mentioned our medium is acidic. That means we have to add H plus in the reaction. We cannot use OH minus. Now total charges are mentioned on top. So as we discussed, we should add H plus. So already on product side we have higher charges, and if we add H plus on product side, then it will increase further. But we can add H plus on reactant side so that we can decrease the negative charge, and that's why we can equalize the charge. So simply let's add 8 H plus. Now by adding 8 H plus, total charge will be 0, because charge of Cr2O7 2 minus and 3 SO3 2 minus was minus 8, and by adding 8 H plus, now minus 8 plus 8 it is equal to 0. On the other hand, on product side we already have 0 charge. So now charges are equal, and last thing is we have to balance the spectator ions. That means ions, those ions which do not change their oxidation state. In this case we have hydrogen and oxygen. So let's check the quantity of hydrogen and oxygen on both sides. So on reactant side, total quantity of hydrogen, as we put 8 hydrogen, we have 8 H. Total quantity of oxygen, we have 7 from Cr2O7 2 minus, and 3 into 3, total 9 from SO3. So total we have 16 oxygen, 7 plus 9 on reactant side. Let's check the product side. So product side we do not have any hydrogens. So quantity of hydrogen it is 0, and quantity of oxygen it is 3 multiplied by 4, total 12 oxygen. So that means we have to add 8 hydrogens on product side, and 16 are already present on the reactant side. On product side we have 12. That means we have to add 4 oxygens. So simply we need 8 hydrogens and 4 oxygen, and we can only put H2O. So simply our answer will be 4H2O on reactant side. Now our reaction is completely balanced. So our completely balanced reaction is Cr2O7 2 minus plus 3SO3 2 minus plus 8H plus. It produces 2Cr3 plus 3SO4 2 minus plus 4H2O. So this is our completely balanced chemical reaction. All the number of elements on both side, charges on both side, they are equal. So this is our complete balanced chemical reaction, and it is mentioned here. Now similar type of example is mentioned here. Try to solve it yourself. If you find any difficulty, then ask about it, and we will discuss the full reaction step by step so that we can reduce the complications. But we will discuss this reaction if some of you ask me question about it. Okay, if none of you ask question about the problem number 8.9, then we are not going to discuss it, and we will directly move on oxidation and reduction half reaction method. Thank you.